Julie Chrisley wants case dismissed. Judge vindictive. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my another video. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Chrisley knows best alum. Julie Chrisley wants her case dismissed as she has deemed the judge vindictive. The former reality star was sentenced to 7 years behind bars and has served nearly 2 years. Now, she feels that her time is up and is ready to move on with her life. Keep reading for more details. Julie Chrisley wants case dismissed. It was a tough blow when Todd and Julie Chrisley were sentenced to a collective 19 years behind bars. They were going to have to leave their children behind, including minors Chloe and Grayson. Their daughter, Savannah Chrisley, was going to be their guardian and take over the maternal role for them. So far, she has done a great job and even gets encouragement from Julie. Sadly, Julie is in Kentucky, whereas Todd is serving his sentence in Florida. Their contact is limited, and it has made things even harder. Julie did get a resentencing hearing, but her probation was extended by 2 years. That baffled Savannah, as she could not understand why her mother was continuously being punished. Followers felt Julie did the crime, so she should do the time. That is debatable, but now Julie is taking a stand. She is over being behind bars and feels she is being targeted. According to WSB-TV, Julie accused the court of retaliation in a recent filing. The hearing and sentence can only leave an impression to any reasonable observer. The sentence was vindictive. Instead, the court spent more time admonishing Mrs. Chrisley's daughter, who was in the courtroom, for public statements she made critical of the case, which the court learned about off the record. Mrs. Chrisley received a vindictive and unfair sentence from a judge personally biased against her and her family. There has also been talk of retaliation by Savannah regarding her mother and her situation. They had hoped Julie Chrisley would be home by 2025, but now, that is not looking so promising. Followers saw this and began a Reddit thread. They agreed that Savannah and Julie could say whatever they chose, but it did not change the crime. This is Julie's problem. Though Julie Chrisley is valid in how she feels and has every right to file her suit, followers did not necessarily agree. They felt that she had done something wrong, therefore, she should have to pay the price. More so, talking poorly about government workers could pose a bigger issue. This family is entitled to say anything they want and make any claim they want. However, they are not exempt from consequences of their statements and claims. Words have power. They can set you free, or they can dig your hole deeper, your choice. They are not getting it through their head that slandering the government isn't doing them any favors. They are making things so much worse for themselves when they do stuff like this. Just suck it up at this point. They did the crime, and she's already done like half the time. It is unclear what will come from their filing, but maybe something small will change for the better. Only time will tell. Do you think Julie is digging a deeper hole for herself? Let us know in the comments below. Title: Julie Chrisley's Fight for Justice. A tale of vindication and resilience. In the bustling heart of the courtroom, with cameras flashing and the media eagerly waiting for every word to be spoken, Julie Chrisley stood firm. Her face, typically warm and inviting on the popular reality show Chrisley Knows Best, was now set in a grim determination as her legal team made a bold move in their ongoing battle for justice. They were asking for the dismissal of the case that had been dogging her family for months. The public had already cast their judgments, but in the courtroom, Julie was fighting to clear her name and protect her family's future. A woman known for her quick wit, Southern charm, and love for her family, was facing a legal storm that threatened to tear apart everything she had worked for. The accusations against her and her husband, Todd Chrisley, were serious. Tax evasion, fraud, and conspiracy. As the case unfolded, the media frenzy only added fuel to the fire, painting the Chrisleys as villains in a story that seemed too wild to be real. But to Julie, the stakes were personal. She wasn't just defending her reputation. She was protecting her family, her legacy, and everything she held dear. With her lawyers, Julie filed a motion to have the case dismissed, arguing that the prosecution was pursuing charges out of spite, driven by a vindictive desire to punish the Chrisleys for their fame, their wealth, and their success. Julie's legal team didn't hold back in their accusations against the judge presiding over the case. They argued that the judge's behavior had been nothing short of vindictive, a clear sign of bias, with a clear agenda to bring the Chrisleys down. "Your Honor," Julie's lead attorney began, his voice steady but filled with the passion of someone who had seen injustice firsthand. "This case is not just about the law. It is about the abuse of power. It is about a judge who is willing to use his position not to deliver justice, but to punish a family he does not like, a family he has made the target of his personal vendetta." The court, full of journalists and curious onlookers, shifted in their seats. The tension was palpable, and the stakes could not have been higher. Julie's defense team had already painted a picture of a legal system that had failed her, one where the scales of justice were tipped by the weight of media influence and personal grudges. Why? Julie had often asked herself, why had her family been targeted so relentlessly? Was it because they were famous? Was it because of their wealth and lifestyle? Was it because, in a world that craved drama and scandal, they had become the perfect targets for a sensational story? Julie knew the answer was likely a combination of all of these factors. But that didn't make it fair. As the trial wore on, the judge's behavior became more and more suspect. He made sharp remarks, showed visible impatience with the Chrisleys' legal team, and often appeared to favor the prosecution's side. It seemed as though his mind was made up long before the trial had even begun. Julie's team became increasingly convinced that the judge had a personal stake in the case, a desire to punish Julie and Todd not just for their alleged crimes, but for their success and their refusal to conform to the typical Hollywood narrative. "All we've ever done is live our lives authentically," Julie had told her legal team, her voice resolute. "We're not perfect, but we are human. We make mistakes, but we don't deserve to be torn apart by a legal system that is supposed to be fair." The defense argued that the charges were built on flimsy evidence, that there was no clear proof linking Julie and Todd to any of the crimes they were accused of. The prosecution had failed to provide solid documentation to support their claims, and their arguments were based on assumptions rather than facts. "Your Honor," the defense continued, "this case is not just flawed, it is a farce. We ask that you dismiss all charges against Julie Chrisley, not because she is famous, but because she is innocent." But the judge remained unmoved. His cold demeanor never wavered, and Julie's defense attorneys were left to argue for justice in a system that seemed stacked against them. The days turned into weeks, and the courtroom became a battleground for not just the Chrisleys' future, but for the very idea of justice itself. Julie had always been known for her resilience. From the moment the charges were filed, she had fought back with everything she had. She wasn't going to let the legal system break her. She wasn't going to let anyone, especially a vindictive judge, take away her dignity or her family's reputation. And while the battle was far from over, Julie knew that with every legal maneuver, every motion filed, and every truth brought to light, she was one step closer to proving her innocence. And so the fight continued. A judge, accused of vindictiveness, stood against a woman who was determined to be vindicated. Would the truth prevail, or would Julie and her family be swallowed by the very system designed to protect them? Only time would tell, but Julie Chrisley was prepared to face whatever came next, with the same fierce determination that had carried her through every challenge before. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.